Hey, I'm Roger. Welcome back to my channel. Now, this is Global Technologies, and what we do, we are a tech entity, and what we do is that we help small businesses and organizations to get their tech issues sorted out. So you want to network, you want to digitize, you want to automate your processes, give us a call. We come in and we just get your situation sorted out. All right. Now, in the video today, I'm going to be talking about the essential things that you need to look at before you go purchasing a security camera system. And this is really meant to be more of like a checklist. So 14 things that you need to look at before you go to purchasing a security camera. And don't be intimidated by that number 14. I am working to get this video over and done with in a very short time. Also, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be putting a link for this checklist in the description section, so you can have access to that. So you can go through that when you are thinking about getting a security camera system. All right, before I jump into the video though, let me just say thanks, a big shout out to those persons who would have recently subscribed to my channel. Really appreciate it. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please hit the subscription button, hit the like button, hit the notification button, share this and other videos that you will watch. All right, now let's jump right into the video. So the first thing I have on my list of things, so you're thinking about a security camera system, the first of the 14 things that you need to look at is your budget. How much money do you have to spend? The amount of money that you have to spend will determine what you end up with ultimately. Next, will it be for a business or a home? And that is very important because the situation will determine what type of cameras you should have. The other thing, number 3, tip 3 is, will the cameras be for indoor or outdoor? And again, different setup. Different types of cameras are required for different situations. So if they are for outdoor, then they have to be waterproof or weatherproof. All right. Where am I now? Tip 4. So wired or wireless. Again, different situation. Each situation is different setup. Let me just add to that. For a wired system, you're going to find that a wired system is going to be that much more reliable than a wireless system. So bear that in mind. Tip 5. Look at your internet speed. Your internet speed is critical here. If the resolutions of the cameras are pretty high, and if you have a whole bunch of cameras, expect that there's going to be some drag on the internet, right? And you're going to have some amount of latency in the feed if you're remote accessing the cameras. Okay. All right. Number 6 is, how are you going to be powering the cameras? Will you be using electricity? Will they be battery powered? Will they be solar powered? Number 7, DVR versus NVR, and I would have covered this in our previous video, so you may want to check out that video somewhere about here. So DVRs are pretty much old school. They're on their way out. So if you're going to be purchasing a system now, I would say just go out and get a NVR. Camera type, that's tip number 8. So there are a whole lot of different types of cameras out there. So we have things like PTZ, we have bullet cameras, we have dome cameras, and each type will give you different things. So different types of footage, field of view, for instance. So we have to give consideration to that, and you have to think about that when you're going to be purchasing your cameras. Tip number 9, the resolution. Now, the resolution is the quality of the image. The resolution starts what is it? 720, goes up to about 60 megapixels thereabout. I would say stay away from 720p. You're going to find that those cameras are going to be very cheap. 720p, 1080p, very cheap, but the resolution very poor. Right? So bear that in mind. Number 10, tip 10, storage. Now, will you be storing locally or in the cloud? Wherever you take it, you need to consider how much storage you're going to be needing. And guess what? The resolution of the cameras also will determine the storage requirement. So if you have, let's just say, 5 megapixel cameras, and the quantity of the cameras too, I should say, will come into play here. So you have 5 megapixel cameras, you have, let's just say, 16 cameras or 8 cameras, or some great amount of cameras. This is going to require a lot of storage. Also, will you be rewriting the footage? How often will you be rewriting the footage? Things like those. And coming down, number 11, placement. So you have to consider where you're going to be placing the cameras. You want to eliminate blind spots, right? And you also want to make sure that the cameras are not, easily accessible to just about anybody. Number 12, security. key point. We look also, you need to look also on security, well, local security and online security. So where local security is, a number of things here. So we're looking at things like, as I mentioned before, the accessibility to the cameras. You need to look at how accessible the DVR or NVR is or may be to persons. You don't want to have unauthorized persons going there messing around with them. Where online security is concerned, again, you want to make sure that you tighten up on the security, that you reduce the possibility of particular cyber attacks or cyber threats. And 13, features. So with features, there are a whole lot of features that come nowadays with security camera systems, and different manufacturers, of course, they will have different features embedded into cameras, and the quality of the system, the range, whether it's a low range, mid range, low end, mid range. What am I saying? Low end, mid range, yes. High end will determine the type of features that you get with it. And you have things like night vision, you have AI built into these systems nowadays. So you're able to pick up particular faces, you can pick up license plate, you can pick up particular movements, things like those. Okay, so consider whatever features you want in the cameras. And finally, scalability. So what project do you have coming up in the future that may impact your security camera then? So when you're thinking about the security camera system, no, don't just go out and purchase security camera, no, because right now your situation says that you need 4. But you have a project that you're working on which will change that dynamic come a couple of months from now, 6 months or a year from now. So you want to factor those things in. Scalability. So, like for instance, I have a prospect who reached out recently to me. And I was saying to the prospect that the person was saying, that they need like 4 cameras. And I would say, when I went and I checked, I said, no, based on this, you really need much more cameras than that. But based on your budget, you could probably look at purchasing a channel DVR, purchase 4 cameras now, and then you can scale it later on. Okay, so that is really my checklist. 14 things that you need to look at before you go out and purchase that security camera system. Okay, how was the video? Is there anything that you would have added to my 14 list? My list of 14 things? All right, feel free to drop it in the comment. All right, before you head out, please remember, like, share, subscribe. See you again in the next video. Take care.